Gandhi would say, one way or another, I'm going to find you, and I'm going to get you. Get you, get you, get you. That is right. It is time for the Radio Silence sequel, Radio Not 2, Here I Come. Or is it Radio Not, Here I Come 2? I don't know. Why are sequels titles so confusing at the moment? It's like the third Now You See Me, now call you Now You See Me, Now You Don't, even though there is a Now You See Me 2. Well, maybe a conversation for another day. But here we are, here to talk Radio Silence and the sequel we didn't know we wanted or even thought we needed. But Samara Weaving, she's back in the bloodied gown, and she's having to run away from a lot of rich people trying to kill her. What did I think of this? Well, spoilers, I'm kind of in the bag for Radio Silence, but let's talk about it. Radio Silence is the directing team of Tyler Gillette and Matt Bettinelli Oplin. See, I like doing this in front of my computer because now I can read the names and mispronounce them instead of mispronouncing them when I'm trying to remember them. I think this is better. Anyway, as I mentioned before, I am a huge fan of Radio Silence. I probably have been actually... I wish I could say it was earlier, but I think it was the original Radio Not movie from 2019. And their Scream movies, especially their Abigail, I mean... I really love how they make horror comedy. I think they're actually very good action directors, as well as horror and also comedy. Because I think the action part of their movies is kind of the secret sauce of why I like them. They make the blockbusters, even though these blockbusters don't tend to make as much money. Justice for Abigail. They are the secret sauce, and they are kind of the blockbuster that I really like. I like their humor. I like how they work with actors. I like the roles that they give their actors. They seem to really want to give their actors, especially the ones they admire. We'll get into the Sarah Michelle Gellar of it all soon. But I just really had a good time, and there are moments where I was just cackling. I mean, Radio Not 2. This movie does take a few moments to warm up, because it's got to reheat the nachos a little bit, as in it's got to get everyone caught up to the same place. So we literally end where the first movie ended up, which was Samara Weaving playing Grace, who was marrying into a wealthy family who love board games, and the devil also loves board games. So now they have to play a we will kill you hide and seek. It's a really fun movie, and the sequel picks up exactly where the first one ends. Her sitting on the steps, fiery mansion, covered in blood, smoking a cigarette. Then we get into the second. And there's a lot of business to do, which is kind of front-loaded, which I was thankful for. So we are now introducing Catherine Newton as Faith, as Grace's sister. So there's a lot of, hey, why weren't you in the first movie? And there is a lot of reminding of what happened. Devil likes to play board games. The most dangerous game kind of aspect to it. And then it's also going to set up the new movie, which is because she survived the original hide and seek. Now it's double or nothing. Now it's multiple families coming in to try and kill her at one result. That... Those two words, I think, sound familiar, but I could be wrong. I'm going to push forward. Anyway. So it does take a little bit to get going, but as soon as a coked up Kevin Durant waltzes in, this is when the movie starts cooking, and it does not stop. We are then introduced to a whole new swath of people, as I mentioned before. As I mentioned, Catherine Newton, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Elijah Wood, Sean Hennessy, who was absolutely giving a performance, David Cronenberg, or as I like to call him now, Daddy Cronenberg, Nesta Carnival. It is a full cast. Now, the first one had this as well, because it was a lot of quip, die. And yes, is Radio Not 2 more of the same? Yes. Was I happy about it? Absolutely. Mainly because they give Sarah Michelle Gellar a lot to do, which made me happy. So we might as well just get into the performances. I've enjoyed everything that Samara Weaving is generally in. I think she's really great, and I think she works really well in horror. And Catherine Newton, well, Catherine Newton makes everything better, and I like them working as a team. Look, Catherine Newton I have loved since Freaky, which now I'm realizing is actually like a horror version of Freaky Friday, and now I really want to do that, and Freaky and Freaky Friday as a double for the Schlock Awe podcast. If anyone wants to do that, hit me up. That would be really fun. But I like their sisterly dynamic. This is what this movie is leaning into, and their performances do the same. Family. What is family? In the first one, Samara Weaving's Grace wanted to make a new family, make her life better, have people in her life that actually cared about her. And you find out that she did, but she left. And they belabor the point a little bit, but as I said, love Samara, love Catherine, so their banter was great. And then you get the other side who are trying to kill them. This is mainly Sarah Michelle Gellar and Sean Hordesy, who play evil twins. And they are trying to win the hide and seek, or the ball, I think they call it in this one, so they can honor their father, David Cronenberg. And again, you see that same relationship interplay with those two as you see with Samara Weaving and Catherine Newton. Though I am noticing that in the last 5 or 6 years, David Cronenberg's main theme when he's acting, or when he's like, whose children are making movies, is about kind of sending his heirs off to do bloodied business. And I'm starting to think The Brood might not just be angry divorced dad movie. There might be something else going on. But yeah, David Cronenberg's in this, and he's great. I love it every single time he shows up. It makes me happy. Sean Hordesy probably has my least favorite performance in this. I think he's working I'm the psychopath muscles a bit too much. Like every single time the camera goes to him, he starts twitching. Sarah Michelle Gellar is great. She's, again, someone that makes her movies better. She may be one of the big reasons why I love the remake of, or the reboot, or the requel, or the I don't know what it was, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Anyway, I thought that movie was fun. It was dumb fun. I don't know. I like the stabby. Anyway, this movie actually does something with her. She gets to play the pathos. She gives you that Buffy moment. Her fighting with Samara Weaving is just... it's just what you want to see on screen. It brings that nostalgia, but it's not too obvious. Well, they don't say what they're doing. And she also is able to give that pathos, that really good performance of a couple of tones. And I appreciated that. Nestor Carbonell, with the most beautiful eyes in Hollywood, is also in this. He is just fun. I think I mentioned a coked up Kevin Durant. I think a lot of the characters in this coked up. But he's fun running around. A lot of the characters do that. It is mayhem. And they all kind of fit into their parts really well. Most characters get kind of one thing that they're doing. This is a very radio silence thing, unless you're the lead. Something like Samara Weaving or Melissa Barrera kind of thing, where you get to play multiple emotions. But that didn't really bother me, because the movie is such a action comedy set piece, getting to the next set piece, that I wasn't necessarily needing all these actors to have these big emotional moments. But when I did get them, I was, really happy with it. Elijah Wood is having a great time. He's not asked to do much. He is the devil's lawyer. And I think he does a good job. I mean, when Elijah now he's kind of the cameo king at the moment. He'll just come into a movie, smirk, do a weird, quirky thing, and then leave again. It's kind of very similar to the monkey from, was it last year? Because I think last year, or even the new Toxic Crusader movie, where he's a little bit more involved. But again, Look, he's kind of very Addams Family-esque at the moment, and I'm not complaining about that. Everyone in this movie is doing what they're expected to. In a radio silence movie, there is a want to give big performances, and they do encourage that. And everyone does. I mean, these have got a lot of returning players. Radio Silence loves a Catherine Newton. They love a Kevin Durand. They're not going to say no to a Cronenberg. So, and also a Samara Weaving, because she was even in like the opening for Scream 5. And they all kind of know how they fit in, and they know they can play it up big. You don't go to a radio silence movie for a subtle performance. Sean Hennessy may have taken that note a little bit too far at times, but I think there's a really good balance of how everything works in this movie. So again, I'm going to keep saying this, I really had a good time. How does Ready or Not 2 Here I Come look? That looks fine. You don't necessarily go to one of these kind of movies for the cinematography. You're going for the set pieces and for the action, and in terms of how the fighting and choreography is staged, I would say is kind of more important to exactly how this movie looks. It's the movement of the piece that's going to be giving more of the ideas of theme than necessarily the shadow work. But I will say Ready or Not 2 is a crisper, cleaner looking movie. It is still a wildly messy movie, but I think that's more how Radio Silence likes to play around with film. I don't think they are let's stick to the script, or more importantly, let's make this under 90 minutes kind of filmmakers. They are big, they are messy, they are playful. But this does look better than the original. I don't think overall I like it as much as the original. We'll get into that soon. But I think in terms of how you look as Ready or Not 2 as a movie, you look at it as a blockbuster. It moves, it sounds, it quips, exactly like a blockbuster does. Except with more exploding people. And I guess that's how I like my blockbusters. It is... So, yeah, it's not... Look, it looks fine. It looks good. I mean, there's a moment toward the end that Samara Weaving has looked the most beautiful that she has ever looked in her life. It is insane. This is kind of going for a class. It kind of moves into more of a classic horror feel with lots of blacks and reds toward the end, but it's nothing out of the ordinary. But as I said, you are there to kind of enjoy the moments and the set pieces more than you are kind of enveloping in the style of the piece. My final thoughts on Ready or Not 2, Here We Come. I like the movie. I like movies with Catherine Newton. I like movies with Sarah Michelle Gellar. I like movies where people try to blow each other up. I don't know. What do you want from me? This movie is not really about theme. It's about set pieces and having fun and making a blockbuster. Not every movie has to be deep or have award-winning cinematography in it. But I think the action really works, and I think it's funny. And I think it's gross. And I think the jokes they repeat in it are funny. I keep saying funny. But if I was to give Ready or Not to a theme, it would be about family. It is very much mirroring, that is not an easy word to say, what the original movie did, about a woman who wanted to create a new family, wanted to forget that her life hadn't turned out the way she wanted, and now she's in a place where multiple people want to kill her with a rocket launcher. And that is a good movie. It is also, this movie is about family. So she's reconnecting with her sister, or at least trying to. And it is also about how David Cronenberg likes to send out his children into the world and do macabre things. I think that's something else, though. Anyway, I think this movie is fun. If you just want a really good popcorn movie that is bloody, that is visceral, that is works well, you can't really do... Look, Ready or Not's the kind of movie that it does. You eat popcorn, you enjoy it, you eat snacks, you turn it off, you forget about it, but you had a good time, you go do something else. that's not necessarily a bad thing. I will probably watch this movie again because I tend to rewatch a lot of Radio Silence's movies a lot. And I think they're good directors. They make me happy. Sarah Michelle Gellar in a movie, being able to do things, makes me happy. And that is all you can ask for sometimes. Though, if you were able to see this, please let me know what you thought of it in the comments. Please subscribe and or rate review. I don't know what website I'm on at the moment. But we will be back with another movie review.